Cabot Barden joins us this morning. Cabot, I've been a guest on this show numerous times, and the guy's a songwriter. He is an author, and as a matter of fact, his 19th book, The Vendetta, is out now. Cabot, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us today. Tell us a little bit about The Vendetta.
The Vendetta is a sequel to the first book, The Chameleon. It picks up where this one leaves off 6 years later. In 1939. The very first thing that happens is a woman escapes from a prison bus that has been sunk into a creek in a storm, and she escapes, and she has a lot to do with the plot in the book. Then it switches to Drew Brand, which is the hero in the book, and his group go on a mission out over to Japan, above Japan, to find out what's going on over there, and they find out that the Japanese are planning to bomb a Russian base with American planes to cause the Russians to go against the United States in the Second World War. So they got to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that mission is complete, he comes back and finds out that the mafia has killed his family, his wife and his son, and so that he goes in with the FBI trying to find out who and where they are, the ones that killed his family.
Thus The Vendetta.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with the content for all these books?
Just comes in my head and I just put it down.
Yeah. Wow. This is book number 19, The Vendetta. Where is it available today?
It's available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and it's available at Elmo's in Talladega and at the Comer Museum here.
Yeah. When you started writing a few years ago, did you ever think you'd get to where you are now?
No, I never even thought I'd be writing. You know, I was a musician. I didn't think anything about writing books. In fact, in 1989, when I met my hero, Clive Cussler, who has written over 60 #1 bestsellers, he passed away last year. But anyway, I met him in 1989, and I asked him just off the cuff, you know, if I ever wrote a book, what would I write about? And he said, write what you know, and if you don't know it, find out. So that stuck with me, and then in 2009, I started on my first book.
How long did it take you to write The Vendetta, this particular book?
This one, about 4 months just to write the book, and then...
Now you're doing a series of writings right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Drew Brand series, which is this one, The Chameleon, then The Vendetta, and I'm working on the third one now.
So you're already on the third of the series?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the third one happens during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Drew and his bunch right now are over in France trying to stop the Germans from building a nuclear bomb.
We had you originally scheduled some weeks back, and you had a little sickness in the family. How's that going?
Libby had a heart attack, but she's doing much better now. She's back at work. So.
Yeah. Well, living with you, you know, puts a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah.
She's a great girl, and we
Yeah.
appreciate her. Cabot Barden, our guest this morning. Are you going to be signing some books sometime soon?
Yeah, I'll be with the Central Alabama Writers Guild and Alliance. We'll be doing it as a group up at Dee Dee's Book Rack in Chalkville.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle Hanna will be with us. Kyle, by the way, owns his own publishing company. And if anybody's interested in getting published, he's a good guy to talk to.
And, you know, you're talking about getting published. It's not just A, B, and C, is it? It's a lot goes into it.
Yeah, it's a tricky little deal to get published and not get flim-flammed, because there's so many scammers out there, so many what we call vanity publishers that'll take your money and give you a sorry product and not, you know, get your book out there where anybody knows.
You know, some of these guys, they'll steal your ideas too.
Yeah, that happens in the music business and the writing business.
Yeah. Music or writing, which one do you like the best?
Well, the writing's more profitable. But I
like that.
Yeah. But the music is in me, and it's never going to go away. So I really like doing that.
So you mentioned the book, and this is your 19th writing so far. How much does a typical book cost?
Mine usually costs retail is, these are 18 now. They were 15. My books were 15, but due to the economy and all that, they went up on me to 18 for retail.
Easy read books?
Pretty much, yeah. The seventh grader could read them pretty good, and they're family friendly. I don't put any very bad words, and I do not get into the blood and gore at all. They're, like I said, family friendly. Your kids could read them without you worrying about them, being too icky.
Yeah. Cabot Barden, our guest this morning, singer and songwriter, and musician, and does all this kind of stuff. Where did you get your break, Cabot? Do you really get going?
Do what now?
Where did you get your break to really get going in the music business?
Music business? Well, I started playing when I was 14, and just kept at it. Of course, Frank Lister and I, off and on, we wrote songs. And
Is Frank still alive?
Frank died in 2014.
Okay.
Had a heart attack. We just finished up doing a Common Faith reunion CD, and a month later he had a heart attack. We lost Frank. We lost Charlie.
Charlie Gamble, I don't know if there was an instrument he couldn't play.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He even played saxophone.
And he's one of those hardcore rockers,
Yeah.
He had that rocker voice about him, too. He played the drums with us at church many years ago at Church on the Rock, and I would swear, too, he would beat the shavings off them sticks playing the drums. So, I had a good time during all of that. And, but your break comes in writing, and here you are with your 19th book, The Vendetta, and this is a two in a series of 3 writings. And how did that break come for you?
Well, I got the idea. I sat down. I was trying to come up with an idea for a new series, and I called up my friend Paul Kemperkos, who's co-written several books with Clive Cussler, and I said, Paul, what would be a good avenue to go with a new series? He said, well, nobody's done much about 1930s, 1940s type hero. We've got the Indiana Jones type. He said, but, and as far as books go, there's Indiana Jones was not based on a book. It was just a screenplay. And I said, well, okay, well, let me figure out some kind of hero. And so then I got to thinking about my dad. And my dad was involved with military intelligence during the 30s and 40s. And I got to remembering all the stuff he told me when I was a little kid. And I said, there we go. There it is. Just changed the name a little bit, Drew Brand, and because my dad's name was Drew. And there you go.
So you must have a great memory to be able to think and retain from thinking to writing down what you're thinking about.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at remembering a lot of stuff. Long term, short term, I couldn't tell you what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can tell you what happened 20, 30 years ago for sure.
Yeah. Well, the book, The Vendetta, is available at bookstores, and also you're going to be at a book signing. Are you going to be in Sylacauga or Talladega County anytime soon?
I don't know. My schedule is still developing. I do a lot of Indian powwows. We've got 3 or 4 of those already coming up.
Talk about that. I was going to mention earlier that it slipped my mind, but talk about that a little bit.
Well, let's see. The first one I know of will be in Pulaski, Tennessee.
Now, what's this about?
Cherokee Indian powwows. We have our Indian tribes come together, the Choctaws and Cherokees and the Creeks, and sometimes the Chippewas come in with us at the powwows, and they get up and dance, and we just have a great celebration of being together as Indians.
Can you speak a little bit to the history of the American Indian in Talladega County?
I've got 3 books about the Indians of Talladega County, actually. One called I Will War No More, which was a bestseller. It talks about Salakta Chinnaby, the guy that saved Fort Leslie in Talladega, tells his life story, including his death in 1835.
Is that Chinnaby? Is that Cheehaw? Is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He owned 200,000 acres of land up there going up to the top of Cheehaw, which is why they named Lake Cheneby after him. His grave is down there at the foot of Cheehaw. When you're going to Cheehaw in McElderry Road, it's right there in the curb, about 5 feet off the road. His grave is right there. It's got a little plaque with his picture on it in somebody's front yard.
I go through quite a bit, and I've never known that.
Yeah, it's on the left. Just to go around that curve right before you take a right to go up to Cheehaw Mountain.
Wow.
Just right there.
Sylacauga, Alabama has a kindred spirit to the Indian Nation as well.
Yeah, there was an Indian village out here next to Fairmont. They did the excavation of it back in the 80s and 90s. And they found a lot of Indian relics that are at the museum here.
Now, you have Indian heritage?
Yeah, my grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee. So I belong to the Cherokee Nation up in Gunnersville.
Kind of describe what maybe your grandmother may have, her life kind of lived through being a Cherokee Indian.
Well, her family was on the reservation up in North Carolina, and my grandfather met her up there. Her family lived there during the removal of the Indians, but her family hid out in the woods when the soldiers came to get them, take them on Trail of Tears. After the soldiers left, they just went back in their house. Soldiers never came back, so they stayed there.
Wow. The Vendetta, Cabot Barden with us this morning, second of three in this series. The Vendetta, capsule of the book again, and where they can get it.
You can get it at Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and Books A Million, and at Elmo's in Talladega, and pretty soon at the museum here in Sylacauga. The book is about Drew Brand in 1939, 6 years after the first book takes place, and the mafia comes after his family. They murder his wife and his son, and so he and the FBI go after the murderers, and the Chameleon is involved in this one. The Chameleon is a family that is run by a couple of women that run the family, and so they're thinking
they run all families.
Yeah.
Maybe you ought to write about that too. So, if people want to get in touch with you, maybe in other parts of Alabama, don't know that much about you, how can they do that?
You can contact me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook all over the place. You can contact me through my email at cbard@hotmail.com, or you can just call me. My phone number's on my Facebook page. So.
And you're going to be in Chalkville real soon.
Yep, and about February 11th.
All right. So you're in the third writing of this series right now. When do you think it'll be out?
Probably, let's see, probably by June, maybe July.
All right. Well, let's do it again around that time.
Okay.
Cabot Barden, our guest this morning, writer and singer and musician, and he does it all. Cabot Barden with his 19th book on the market right now, The Vendetta. Thanks to Cabot being with us this morning. We will be back with more Daybreak right after you watch this.